A reading from the book of Genesis. God said to Noah and his children, I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the domestic animals, and every animal of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. God said, This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. What is carbon? And what do we mean by carbon footprint anyway? Carbon is the element present in all life. If there is no carbon, there is no life. So if carbon is such an integral part of life on Earth, why do we want to reduce our carbon footprint? Let's look first at the carbon cycle of Earth. There are 4 different ways that carbon is stored on Earth: in the air, in rock, in organic matter, and in the oceans. But it doesn't stay put. It cycles through all of these. Carbon in the air, carbon dioxide, is absorbed into the oceans by diffusion. In the sea or on land, plants take carbon in through photosynthesis. Animals, including ourselves, eat the carbon-rich plants, and when we breathe out, we exhale carbon dioxide into the air. Plants, when they break down, either through decomposition or through combustion when burned, release their carbon into the atmosphere once again. So carbon goes from the atmosphere to oceans and plants, and from plants to fuels and to animals, and from there back to the air again as carbon dioxide. Natural gas, oil or petroleum, and coal are called fossil fuels because they have been formed over hundreds of millions of years from living plants and from microscopic animals. Buried under the pressure of rock sediment over time, the organic debris is compressed and heats up and is converted to droplets of oil. Oil is formed under ancient oceans, coal under land. The carbon of ancient life is stored underground in fossil fuels. When we burn them for energy, the carbon enters the atmosphere and binds with oxygen as carbon dioxide. When the sun's rays reach Earth, most are absorbed and keep the planet warm enough to support life. But some of the rays bounce back out away from Earth. The combination of absorption and reflection are in a balance that keeps Earth at just the right temperature to sustain life. The form that carbon takes in the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. That is, 1 atom of carbon links with 2 atoms of oxygen to form 1 carbon dioxide molecule, and we abbreviate that as CO2. The CO2 in the atmosphere prevents some of the sun's rays from bouncing out and away from Earth. The CO2 and other greenhouse gases intercept the rays and return that heat to Earth to be absorbed. The more CO2 in the air, the more heat is bounced back and the warmer Earth becomes. How much is too much? From the beginning of humanity, up until about 200 years ago, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere stayed around 275 parts per million. That's the ratio of the number of molecules of CO2 to all the other molecules in the atmosphere. But the Industrial Revolution of the early 1800s began an era of more and more combustion, which from our carbon cycle adds more and more carbon dioxide to the air. Scientists have figured out that when the atmospheric carbon stays around 350 parts per million or less, the resulting change in Earth's temperature would still sustain life. More than 350, and we are dangerously close to an irreversible heating. Right now, we are at 390 parts per million, so we are now in the danger zone. As Earth warms gradually, some of the environmental changes contribute to more warming in what can become a spiraling effect. An example of this is the polar ice caps. These vast areas of white ice deflect the sun's rays, keeping the global temperature in a beneficial range. Conversely, the dark ocean absorbs the sun's heat. The more the ice caps melt into the ocean, the less white surface can send the sun's rays back, and the more dark surface there is to absorb heat, and so the warmer the Earth gets.